Bloody hard, Bogan Plays Cards. Today I bought a Elven Honeysuckle Kingdom from TTCombat. We're going to unbox it today, and we're going to build something. Not going to build all of it, because otherwise we're going to run out of time. I did build a pretty cool Elven Pergola, so let's check it out. Remember, if you like what you see, whack that bell. Chat! That Bogan Plays Cards! Alright, so this is a TTCombat Elven Honeysuckle Kingdom. Pretty cool. Comes with a whole bunch of really awesome things. I'm going to be building them throughout the next few weeks. So came with a whole bunch of really awesome barrels and things like that as well. Really detailed barrels, should I say. So I'm really looking forward to painting them as well. May not necessarily be enough for a video, but we'll see how we go. So we're going to start with this Pergola. There's not going to be a lot to talk about as I'm building it, because the cool thing about TTCombat is it's basically like adult Lego if Lego wasn't already for adults. You know what I mean. Lego's great. This is quite complicated. It's really, really good fun. But I'll be honest, there were some complications on the way. Made a couple of mistakes. Not proud about them, but you'll have to watch the rest of the video to find that one out. Grabbed a knife. You have to cut them out a little bit so that they pop out rather than forcing them out. Don't force them out. It will break. I may have broken one thing. Had to PVA it back and let it dry before I could use it. So be very, very, very careful. Very important. And there you go. Nice, organized, beautiful mess. Get some PVA and begin. So the other really cool thing about TTCombat, I've used them a little bit with my modeling off camera. I quite enjoy them because all of their instructions are found online, so it's all really cool, no waste of paper and that kind of thing as well. You just jump online, type in the code of the product type, and you can find it. But moving on, you know how much I love PVA. Just make sure that when you're putting it all together, put a whole lot of PVA, use your finger, get your hands dirty, put it all into the gaps, make sure that it is going to be enough. You don't want it falling apart. Now the really interesting thing about this is you should always be very delicate when you put the top on. Just ease it into those gaps, put the pegs in the holes. Should be straightforward, right? I had a few too many wheat picks, I feel. So it all seemed like an average day in the office. I chucked some PVA where it needed to go. I picked up the sheet, I followed the instructions, I gradually eased the pegs into the holes. Then I actually turned it around and sort of grabbed a hammer and tried to bang it, because they weren't going in. And that's on me. Yeah. Gotta hate that. But I fixed it, so moving on. Naturally, it doesn't look as good as the other ones, but hey, it is stable as. So that is the most important part. Another thing that I noticed, putting the top on, probably should have put the top on to the frame rather than make it as a separate entity. That's neither here nor there. The instructions say to do it the way that I did it, but for future reference, if you ever get this particular piece, probably going to be really easy if you just added it on. This was probably the fiddliest bit, but to be honest, the whole thing turned out really good. So I am okay with being fiddly and challenged. I don't mind things being fiddly and being challenged, because that is part of the fun of crafting, isn't it? Came with a separate little brazier type thing as well. So as I was waiting for all of the PVA to dry, I put that together as well. So at this point, I'll just let you know, I'm not just putting together a TTCombat Elven Pergola, I am also painting it and flocking it and turning it into something of for my own D&D campaign that I am running. So please, if you think that I'm just putting this together because of the instructions, please keep watching and see how it turned out, because it is not going to just turn out like the picture that I posted up just before. But it does look pretty cool. Alright, so I grabbed some army painter, we had some green skin and demonic yellow, and I grabbed my wet palette and I put them all together and created some kind of green demonic skin thing. A really cool light green. Now for the majority of this painting, I actually used one of the paintbrushes that came in that army painter box that I opened and reviewed in my previous video. Link in the description. Yes, a little bit of selfish self-promotion. But yeah, it's a really cool package. I highly recommend getting one if you're getting into crafting or thinking of getting into crafting. Really a very helpful tool. It did get a little bit technical though as I was painting, so I did have to use one of my insane detail brushes just to make sure that I don't get anything outside of the lines, almost like a colouring book if you wish. So we used the green skin demonic yellow hybrid thing. We also used just the green skin army painter and just the demonic yellow. And it all sort of combined together. And I did kind of make it up on the spot. This is just how it works. You know, you have a couple of different colours there. You know you're going to use all three of them. And then you just sort of work out what feels right and what you think is going to look good. And I really think that it is starting to really look good. Next up is all of the bars for the pergola. So I grabbed a plate mail metal army painter and painted that through. All of the things that I assumed were going to be metal. So that's all of the top viney parts, all of the bottom viney parts where the trestle comes through. I painted all the frills on the ends, and that all got the metal brush taste. In fact, that was probably the trickiest part of the whole painting procedure, is making sure that you cut the top and the sides of those viney parts on the trestle looking thing, because there was no previously cut lines. The next step was to use my shades. So using the shades on the natural wood that it came with was my idea to try and make it look like it was still made out of wood, as well as things like metal and other things. So I started off with a really dark shade. It's called a strong tone for most of the archways and all that kind of thing. And then I moved on to shade the rest of it in a soft tone, so that part of it would look like it was a stained wood and the other stuff would just look like it was just natural dirt and grease and things like that. Not a soft tone, sorry, a light tone. Of course, the next stage after getting all of this washed down is my favourite part. The flocking! And it was really cool because I was able to use the flocking that I made in a previous video. So if you want to know how I made that real cheap, easy flocking, there will be a link in the description. It's just a short It's a nice, quick, easy video, as long as you've got a blender and you've got some paint and a little bit of foam, you're good to go. So after I added all of that flocking, I grabbed a little bit of lighter flocking, and of course a little bit of Woodland Scenic's floral flocking, just to add a little bit of colour and spice to the build. Then I grabbed some vines that I had in my little box of secrets, and I added it to the edges. One thing I did forget to record though is after I did all of this, I did grab a little bit of liquid PVA and I sprayed it all over the flocking so that it was going to stick properly. Very important, because otherwise you're going to move it around and you're going to slowly lose all the flocking and all of the work that you have done in this last part. Put it out in the sun, let it dry, and there we go. Really happy, really proud of this build. Let me know what you think in the comments. Very important. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I will be creating more of these elven honeysuckle buildings in the next couple of videos. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
That Bogan plays cards!